I am Shahida from the English department. Today I am going to explain about a poem from NCERT of class 10 CBSE. The title of the poem is Animals, written by Walt Whitman. Before starting off the poem, I would like to tell the summary of it. So in this poem, the poet is speaking about how the human beings and animals behave on the earth. So in this poem, Animals, the poet has described his will to become an animal because he thinks animals are far better than human beings. Human beings are greedy and full of jealousy against each other, but animals are happy with what they have. They never complain about miseries and sorrows. On other hand, human beings complain about their miseries. They give more importance to the rich and strong people, stay restless because of their wrongdoings, and run behind their luxurious things of this world, whereas animals are honest about their relations and don't give importance to a particular class. They live a life which is full of honesty and less of greedy and jealous. So, now come, let's see the verses of the poem. The poet tells us about the fields more at home with animals than humans, whom he finds complicated and false. I think I would turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. I stand and look at them long and long. They do not sweat and swine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mima of owing things. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So they show their relations to me and I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself. They envy them plainly with their position. I wonder where they get those tokens. Did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently drop them? So, and this poem is taken from the Song of Myself. Walt Whitman is an American poet, so he has related between the animals and human beings. So now, line by line, let's see what the poet is trying to tell us. So, the first two lines of the poem is telling that the poet says that he wants to live in the world of animals. They are calm and they are not greed for anything. Also, they are happy with their life. So, in the first line, you can see the word called as placid. Placid is nothing but the meaning is calm and self-contained. Self-contained, the animals keep themselves controlled. And coming to the next lines of the poem, they do not sweat and swine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. So let's see what are these lines explaining us. So the first line, they do not sweat and swine about their condition. So the meaning of whine is complain, and here he is trying to say that the animals do not complain of any miseries, and the miseries are the problems what they face day to day life, and never cry out loud like human beings. So human beings, what we do, if anything happens in our life, we call people and we keep grumbling, crying. The meaning of crying is not tears. The words what we use to talk about our crisis and the miseries what we have. But animals do, they don't do that. The next line says that they do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. So the whole of the day, what we human beings do is, we think of the incident what happened to us and we don't go to sleep with peace. We keep again thinking about the day and the miseries what we have faced. So, but the animals, they never stay awake in the night crying in repentance of the wrongdoing. So, what is the meaning of wrongdoing in the poem? The word he is mentioned is sins. What are sins? The mistakes what we have done. Coming to the next line of it, they do not make me sick, discussing their duty to God. When we lie down or when we sit, when we think of the mistakes what we have done, what do? We blame the God. We say, God, why have you created me like this? And why do you give me so much of problems? We human beings, we are not at all satisfied. Each and every, the happiness, the sadness, and especially the sadness, we do keep grumbling. But what the poet is trying to say here is, the animals, they never discuss with anyone in the senses, not even to the other animals or even to the work, the duty what God has given to us. So, how wonderful the poet has explained about the difference between the animals and we human beings. Now, coming to the next part of the line, not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the memo of owing things. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Again, such a wonderful lines. Not one is dissatisfied. Who is that not one? The animals are, they are not at all dissatisfied. What do you mean by dissatisfied? We are not able to digest the things what we get. Even a small sadness what happens to our life, we keep grumbling and we say, this is not the real fact what I should have on this earth. Animals are always truthful because they never boast about themselves, telling that, oh, today my day was so good and everything good is going to happen to me. Animals, they never say even that. See, the lines is telling that, not in one is demented with the memo of owing things. What is this demented? The mental illness of an human being. We human being, whatever it is, we keep on grumbling. When we think over and over, who keeps on thinking over and over about an incident? It's only a mad person can do this, but animals, they don't do it. Animals are truthful because they never boast about their good deeds done in the name of God. Whatever we say it's our fate. God has given this, but animals don't do that. And not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. We human beings, what we do is, when we get some wrong things done in our life and we keep crying, immediately we say, it's all just because of our ancestors. This is what has happened to us. But animals, they don't do even. And one more thing is, we respect human beings according to their grading level, like the rich, the poor, the middle class. But animals, they never do that. They never bow to anyone. And they never irritate people by telling what type of people do live on this earth. What, like example, we take a lion and a tiger. They are not jealous about each other that the lion is the king of the forest and the tiger is not of it. Both are the animals which have their own qualities living on the earth. Animals never irritate doing such things just to give some praises from a fellow person. The lion never went and said the tiger, telling that, see man, the tiger, I am the king of the forest, you are under my control. But we human beings are not like that. We say that I am the boss, you have to listen to it and you have to bow before me. So here, the animals never even irritate doing this. Now coming to the next part of the lines, what we say is, not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. That is, not one is respectable. Animals, they do respect their own life. But what we human beings do is, when we look at another rich person, our behavior do changes front of them. We try to put ourselves down. walk bending our head, or maybe we just get up and wish them in a different way, but not with the fellow man who is below us. So here again, coming to the other part of the line, what the poet is trying to tell us, they bring me token of myself, they envy them plainly in their position. I wonder where they get those tokens. Did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently drop them? So here the poet is telling that animals do not bow, showing their devotion to anyone like humans do, even to their ancestors. So that we saw that, and no one is more respectable or important than others, like human being, how they say about their status of living life on the earth. And now the poet is telling that they show their relationship as respect as and accept the poet. See there, they bring me token of my life. What is the meaning of token of my life? The meaning of token is what? The qualities of a man. And what is the quality? The inner behavior of a human being, the inner behavior. You could see some people getting angry always. You could see some people when even they are angry, they are very soft. Some people, let it be anything, they keep on smiling. So the animals, they never show that. Even in, we don't know when the animal is angry or when the animal is happy. When you just go greet an animal, it just wags its tail and just greets us. And he says that the animal shows its relationship with such a respect, so the poet interprets himself to say that from where the animals get these good qualities, the author is trying to find out from where did these animals get the good qualities. And at the last line, wonderfully he is explaining it. I wonder where they get those tokens. Did I pass that way huge times? See the word, did I pass? Did I lose those qualities? When I was born, I was never been taught how to get angry, how to laugh, how to smile, how to calm down. But when the days has passed, did I pass? That means the time of a man's living life on the earth, he has passed all these lives and he has lost his qualities, and they have been, he is telling that he has passed on to the animals. How wonderfully he is telling, I am being a human being. I can control myself. I have passed everything to the animals. Now coming back to the meaning over here, can you see in the line, not one kneels. The meaning of word kneels is bowing. And you can see in the same line the word thousands. What do you mean by thousands? It is the ancestors. Even today now what we do is we keep praying to our grandparents. They have passed away on the earth. But still our ancestors have passed away. Still we greet them and we say, my grandpa was very rich. My grandma was a teacher. My grandma was an CEO. We keep grumbling at those things and we keep the status. So they are called as ancestors. Tokens. The meaning of tokens is qualities, envy. And here, envins, sorry. It is the envins. What do you mean by envins? Demonstrate. So, the animals, they never demonstrate, but we demonstrate ourselves by showing who we are. So, and here, the conclusion of the poem, he is trying to say that we human beings actually should learn from animals how to control ourselves and to be calm and not to grumble of our life what we are living. So in our life we have good and bad. So now coming back to the literary devices in these poems, let's see from the starting of the page. Here the first line, can you see the line of the first two lines? It says, I think I could turn. The second line says, I stand and look. So what is the literary device over there? It says that I think I could, I stand. So that word I, it's been repeated in both the lines. So it is called as anaphora. Anaphora is nothing but the lines keep repeating. The lines keep repeating, that is called as anaphora. When you come to the next line, you can see there, they do not, they do not, they do not. 3 times it's repeated in 3 lines. And again, when you come back to the next line, you can say that, see that not one is not one, not one, and that's all. So all these lines is called as anaphora. Anaphora is nothing but in the lines some words are being repeated. And again, when you come back to the first line of the poem, you can see the word called as long and long. I stand, look at them, long and long. So the long and long is the repetition. It's been repeated. But as far as in other lines of the poem, you can't see, nothing has been repeated. But people, actually the students, they do a mistake by looking at the word, they do not is repeated. It's not that, in the same line it should be. So in the same line, it's not been repeated. In a different line it is. So that is called as anaphora. In the same line, when the words are repeated, it's called as repetition. Now, coming to the third line, you can see there, sweat and wine. So what do you mean by sweat and wine? Who sweats? Human beings sweat. And wine is nothing but keep grumbling, complaining. Have you seen any animals coming and grumbling and complaining? No. Only we human beings do complain. So it actually, immediately when we see the line, people think it is personification. No, it's not a personification. It is a metaphor, because before the word we don't have like and as. So it's been directly related. So when a word is directly being related to a person, it is metaphor. So sweat and wine is a metaphor. Coming to the last stanzas of the line, we can see the word called as, they bring me tokens. As I told you, what is the meaning of token? It is the quality. Qualities of, qualities only we have. Like the good quality, the bad quality, the anger quality, the happy quality, the sad quality, the grumbling quality. All these only we human beings have. Because when you see an animal, you can't find out what is the quality of an animal over there. So again here it is a metaphor, because they bring me tokens. Again there we don't have like and as. So it is a direct relation to a human being. So it is a metaphor. So students, I think I've done a better explanation to you for you to understand. And if you have any doubts, you can leave a comment on this video. Thank you. Bye.